All right, welcome to Success in Real Estate with Jennifer
And Delia.
and tonight we have Lisa Even, and I have had the privilege of knowing you for a few years and kind of being on this journey with you. And it's an honor to really do this with you. I'm really, really excited. It's so much fun to watch the paths kind of unfold as we do this together. So it's kind of cool. Okay, so Lisa is a freaking badass. Started in 2015, took about 5 months to get your first deal. Then you kind of build in the pipeline, getting it going. Ended up doing about 42 deals in your first year and a half, and then lost count. 42 deals, that's pretty freaking impressive.
I don't know. I wasn't complaining.
Yeah, I would not be complaining at all. But you have a ton of knowledge to share, so we're super excited. And you started out with door knocking, so that's kind of where we'll start tonight. So tell us a little about who you were before and then why real estate as your vehicle.
Okay, so real estate happened totally accidentally. I thought I was going to be a college professor. That's the path I was on. I went to school a lot till they ran out of money to give me.
Professional student.
Yep. And so I got my master's and couldn't find a path to the PhD. So I got a job, an academic related job, and did that for a few years and was laid off. And I really did not know what I was going to do after that. There wasn't a whole lot available in the, educational sector that was going to be reasonable pay. So I struggled trying to find something for a little while. And I actually found an entrepreneurial meetup group that a friend suggested I go to because I had a completely different business prior to all of this. And she said, let's see if we can get something going there. And
when club.
The 2% Club, yes.
We'll give Jeff a plug. We love Jeff.
Yes. Jeff Fagan. I would not be where I'm at without Jeff Fagan.
Totally started there.
Or BP.
Right, yeah, we got to give them all some love.
Yes. So yeah, I started going to 2% Club and whole lot of real estate investors there.
Yes, still.
A couple of people that needed boots on the ground. And that's how I fell down this rabbit hole.
Yeah. Why door knocking? You get started in real estate and you're kind of like, what is there to do? Like why
right.
Door knocking?
So a couple reasons. The primary reason why door knocking, it's what my mentors needed at the time. I didn't know what I was doing. So, okay, I'll knock doors. Also, it was a way to get into the real estate investing world without having any capital because I got laid off and I was broke.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that with no capital. And really door knocking, you use your time currency and you use your ability to be a sponge and learn things. And that is all you need in order to be successful. And I had those two things available to me. So that's what I used.
So give us a little, like it's your first day and you're walking up to the front door. What's that?
Oh God, it was awful. So I started in August.
Okay.
So, I don't know, what's it been the last few days, like 112?
Yeah, 111 today because I was like, oh, it's 111.
Yeah, so triple digits, little humid, not real comfortable. Walked up to my first door, not alone. I had a mentor helping me out, and he knew what he was doing. But, I got to say, I really wanted to hide behind him because, here we are knocking, we walk up and we're knocking on somebody's security door. So it's loud and it feels like it's echoing through the whole neighborhood.
And they can see you.
Yeah, exactly. And when she opened the door, she was not too pleased to see us standing there because she knew why we were there. Yeah. And so we had to open up that hard conversation. And offer assistance to someone who probably wasn't really in the frame of mind where they wanted to hear a lot about assistance at that time. Yeah. So it was uncomfortable, but, I got through it. We hit, several doors that day. And I saw a wide range of responses. You know, we had people that we knew were in the house and didn't answer. We had the people who answered and weren't real happy, you know, didn't want to talk to us, wanted us to go away. But then, you know, we had a person or two that asked some questions, and you could kind of see their eyebrows go up when you told them something they didn't know, and that was beneficial. And that was when I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And how many doors did you knock before you actually got your first deal, do you think?
Oh my gosh, numbers wise. So it took me 5 months. So, I mean, I knocked a couple hundred doors before I got a deal. Easy.
And that's just kind of how it is. I mean, it's a pipeline that you build. It's a 90-day process. So where are they at? And then you've got like liens and HOAs and medical bills and all kinds of stuff that you're having to jump through. So how does it feel to be called a foreclosure expert? Because you're a badass now, right?
Wow. So it feels pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's humbling.
For sure.
You know, I'm a nerd, so I like to absorb information. And I must really be a nerd because this stuff is actually kind of interesting to me. And I've talked to a lot of people who are like, this is incredibly boring. How could you think it's interesting? But there's a story behind every single one of these deals.
For sure.
And there's a story behind how it got to where it got to. And there's some, you know, there's like detective work, and there's unraveling, and there's, you know, there's a lot to do to uncomplicate these deals, and it's a challenge. And those are the things that I like about it. You know, and what's really nice, I think the best part of having this knowledge base is when you sit across the table from someone, and you give them information that no other entity has been willing to give them, because it's beneficial to the homeowner, but it's not beneficial to the bank necessarily, or whoever might be, you know, the distressed person on the other end trying to foreclose this property. So there's information that they don't want the homeowner to have. And when I say, hey, look, these are your options, this is what's going on here, and I can unravel this mess for you, and they get it and they're relieved. And they want to understand how this works and how we move forward. When you make that progress, it's really exciting.
Yeah. So tell me about like your worst, well, I won't say worst deal, but like how, like you had to jump through all kinds of hoops. Like what was that deal?
Oh, that's like every deal.
I know. You don't take on the easy ones at all.
Yeah, no. So part of my niche, part of how I became an expert was taking on deals that other investors didn't want because they were too complex.
Yeah, I wouldn't guess that shit at all.
Or even taking on deals where the homeowner themselves would say, like, look, I already tried everything and this is a shit show. I can't solve it. And it's like, no, there's just something, there's just like a little thing we need to find that's going to unravel the whole thing. So I don't know that I've necessarily had like a super easy, like slam dunk kind of deal. Here's a good one. So I had a tricky one that I contracted late last year, actually. I think it was like maybe around October. So this deal was a vacant property. And when we went to look at who may have owned it, we noticed that it was in probate. So that means that, you know, an heir of the person that owned it went to the court to try to figure out how to get possession of the property. And so I contacted that heir. And when I talked to her, you know, she actually told me, I don't want anything to do with this property. It's not actually mine. My mom lived in it for a number of years. I think it was like around 20 years. And she said, but it actually belonged to a friend of the family. And when I tried to go through the probate process, what I found out was that my family doesn't have any legal ties to this property, but I can't find the friend of the family's kids. So I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to help you try to find people. I just want it off my plate. I didn't want it to be my responsibility. And I said, okay, great. And I went back to my team. We did the detective work and we found a grandchild of the original owner.
Wow.
And she lived out of state, and I contacted her, and she was like, absolutely, I would love to sell the property. And I thought, great, we're good to go.
Yeah.
So we got contracts signed and everything started moving forward. And the original person that I talked to hired an attorney and filed a lawsuit for adverse possession.
Wow.
So she decided she did want the property after all.
She talked to somebody.
She talked to somebody, and you know, the funny thing is I had the conversation with her from the beginning, you know, that this was a real gray area, and because her mom did live in it for so long and had paid some taxes and things, that, you know, it was possible that she did have some legal interest in the property. Would she like me to explore that? Yeah. And she vehemently said, absolutely not. I don't want any responsibility here. Please just go away. Yeah. And so something changed her mind. Sure. And it took us 9 months of negotiation between the two, because we had a blood heir. And then as we found out through the attorney that she hired, we also had an heir that had legal interest due to other reasons because of laws in the state of Arizona around real estate. So they actually both had an equal amount of interest in the property. So we learned a lot from a legality standpoint. And we spent a lot of time negotiating because neither person wanted to give up, and they both wanted to enter into a lawsuit, which would have taken 2 years and probably 25 to 30 grand a pop for them to turn around and try to sell a property that had been vacant for over a decade with a caved in ceiling and almost no value to it. So all of the money that the property was worth would have gone down the drain in that lawsuit. So we had to spend all that time to try to explain why the suit was not a good idea for either of them, and why they could work with us and both walk away with something, or fight it out and both walk away with nothing, but attorneys get some money. Yeah. So that was a really tricky deal because I didn't know all the ins and outs of the different things going on, but I learned all about it. And now that's in my pocket for another time.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting as I'm hearing you talk, because we do a lot of these interviews, and a lot of us investors, we start somewhere that we should have never started. Like, I went through the course of Investor ID, and I'm like, what was I doing fix and flips? Like, none of that was my strength. And here I, two of them immediately, like, what the heck was I doing? But you are a lifetime student, and this is just a continuous education for you, because it continues to evolve, and the market evolves, and, you're just learning and making money. Like, you really found your niche.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So this one, in fact, this one was so tricky that it was going to be a wholesale deal. So we did have a buyer, and the buyer walked away, and the buyer was like, I don't want to wait for you guys to figure this out. And, so it was one of those where nobody wanted any part of it. But we made it happen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
All right. What would you tell you in your first 6 months? What advice would you give you, knowing what you know now? What would that advice be to her 3.5 years ago?
Ooh. So for one thing, everybody's going to start doing what you're doing, and you're going to get a lot of competition. So don't be a one-trick pony. For sure. Door knocking is not the only way to go.
Yeah.
It's a great way to start. And at the time, nobody else was doing it, so everybody thought I was a total nut job. Yeah. And now everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So I would go back and say, hey, learn some other strategies, have some other strengths, and be ready to make that shift when everybody starts doing what you're doing. Go do something else.
Yeah, for sure, right? Or just become the expert, and you're the only one that's going to do these deals that may last 9 months. So that gives you an advantage. I would not. Yeah, I would have been out. I'm like 2 weeks. I'm like, this wholesale's supposed to be get in, get out, get paid.
And that's the thing, right? Like, that's the thing about wholesaling is everybody's like, oh yeah, it's fast. So that is a benefit to my niche, because the people who want fast aren't going to take on the deals that I take on. Yeah. And they don't want to learn how to unravel tricky stuff. They don't want to be bothered with that. So that is helpful because, you know, somebody's got to take on the crazy stuff.
Yeah. All right. Someone comes up to you at an event and says, Lisa, I'm going to a 3-day boot camp tomorrow. What do you tell them?
Oh, what do I say? All right. Enjoy the boot camp. Absorb all the information that you can. Be prepared that it's a marketing pitch, right? And sit down and think about it for a minute and like realize that there's no way to learn everything that you need to learn in 3 days of doing this. Like whoever's at the front of the room is definitely going to be like, I'm going to give you enough information to get started today. And like in theory, maybe that's true, but you're not going to know how to put it into practice.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you get out of that 3rd day of boot camp, there's a reason why they're trying to get you, you know, to upsell and do more. Part of that is because you're not ready, you know, and part of it is because, you know, they baited you a little bit, to be honest.
Totally.
I would say that the way to go is coaching, mentorship. There's lots of different, you know, types of education that are available. And I think something that's going to give you a long-term return is going to be better for you. But, you know, be prepared that, think about it this way. If you had appendicitis, are you going to go to a doctor that went to a 3-day boot camp to become a surgeon? Or are you going to go to a doctor that went through med school, did their residency, got a specialty in being a surgeon, and knows what they're doing and isn't going to leave anything inside you when they take out your appendix?
Totally. Right? Okay, so give us a little, we are having a Woman Up event. So for our viewers at home, Saturday, August 31st from 12:30 to 6 p.m., Lisa is going to be our keynote speaker on foreclosures. $27, that will include lunch and goodie bags. And the address is 725 East Baseline Road in Gilbert. It's at the food bank in Mesa, or in Gilbert. Give us a little about what we can kind of anticipate to hear and learn from you.
So I'm going to give some basic information on foreclosure, sort of to just get everybody up to speed and like on the same page, right? A little bit of background about what I do and how I became to know all of this, so that y'all know it's legit. And then I'm gonna delve into some detailed information about the specifics of HOA foreclosure. And the reason that I'm doing that is because there are lots and lots and lots of people who don't believe that your HOA can foreclose. But here in Arizona, they can, and they do it all the time. And I feel that this information is really good across the board. It's great for anybody who's involved in real estate. It's also great information to know if you live in an HOA community, because I got to tell you, you never know what kind of crazy nonsense your HOA is going to pull.
Right.
You know, the HOAs are more or less run by really big property management companies, and you know, things fall through the cracks and mistakes get made all the time, and people don't really know what it is that they're up against if a problem occurs. And people are losing their homes because of that. So you know, I want to give people the information that they need to be educated on that subject, and bring some value to the real estate community. And like I said, I think it's going to be across the board good for anybody involved in real estate, any homeowner who lives in an HOA community, real estate agents, so that they can help to educate their clients. You know, even people in title. I've come across several title agents who've never dealt with this type of judicial foreclosure before, and have had some real issues trying to get the title work done. And my team has, you know, been integral in getting title work done even in these situations. So I think it's helpful for a really wide range of people to know the info. And just hoping to provide a lot of value on a subject that isn't very widely looked at.
Yeah, like a secret. I don't know, so I
want to
appreciate
learn
you.
it. I do.
Do you have any questions?
I do. What do you love the most about what you're doing now in your real estate investing?
Oh man. So I really like the challenge of it. I don't like doing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
I'm not a cubicle person. I can't sit at a desk and be at a computer all day long. Like that kills my soul. So I'm doing, I get to do something different every single day. Every deal is different. Every day my schedule is different. I get to learn a lot of things. I get to come across a lot of challenges, but I'm never, ever bored.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're learning. I mean, it really is fulfilling something. You wanted to be a professor, and you kind of are. You just know it wasn't going to be in the type of, subject matter that you maybe thought.
Right. Who knew?
You kind of created that for yourself a little bit. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the event we're going to do Saturday, August 31st, and then we will have a co-ed event in September. So that'll be for men and women, and we'll do kind of a whole day, half day, lunch provided. I don't know. We're going to figure that out. So
Yeah.
awesome. And then if people want to get a hold of you, I'm not going to put you on the spot. We're not going to hand out phone numbers or anything, but I will find a way so that they can have some information if they have any foreclosure questions and things like that.
Perfect. And I am actually putting together a business page right now that will be going live soon. And so, yes, if people have questions pertaining to foreclosure, absolutely, I'd be happy for you to direct them to that page. I'm working on getting it up and running, so that'll be available soon, and that'll be a really easy way to get to me.
Cool. We'll put that on Driving with Delia on her YouTube. Oh, Door Knocking with Delia.
Door Knocking. Yes. So thank you so much for spending part of your night with us.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Appreciate it. And I hope that you can help a lot of people out, and we'll help each other out.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I look forward to learning from you.
I know. I'm already like, ooh, we should have done a live Q&A. Like next time we'll do a live Q&A. That'd be really fun.
I'm totally open to it. We will do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Have a good night.